Darth Bane. Who in the heck is he? No, I'm just kidding. Some of you may know already, but by golly, we've got special guests with us today. It's Nerdery and Murdery, and by golly, let the shenanigans begin here on Two Geeks and a Microphone. Who goes first? You go first. I go first. Wait, who goes first?
Who talks first? You talk first. I talk first.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Two Geeks and a Microphone. I am your co-host, Mr. Stephen Boster, along with the one, the only, Mr. Michael Shanks. Mike, say hey to everybody.
Good morning to all you geeks out there in Geekdom Land. Sorry, I was late on the uptake there. I was excited and I was geeking out to our music, and I just forgot to do our little.
Well, I'll be open with you guys. I am geeking out about our guest today with the Nerdery and Murdery crossover. Mike, who do we have with us for those who may not know our good friends Nerdery and Murdery?
We have the court jesters of Nerds and Merds in the house. Jeff and Zig of Nerdery and Murdery. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thanks for having us. This is number 3 for us.
Yeah.
Awesome. Glad to be back here. Good to be here for y'all to join us for the ups, the downs, the goods, the bads, the highs, and the lows, and the nerd and the murd.
I love it when he says that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh my goodness. Well, everybody, we so appreciate you joining us this morning, and very excited about how things are going to roll out because always with Jeff and Zig, it is a party. So welcome to the fray, everybody.
What up?
It's the first time we're live.
Yes.
Oh yeah, this would be your guys' first time.
We never go live.
Well, okay. First time live on the web because we actually did a live show for number 50 where we had a live audience, which was, man, that was nerve-wracking.
He was so good, though. He was so good.
Oh, you guys did great. I listened to that episode. You guys did a fantastic job.
There were a bunch of inside jokes that went on for 45 minutes we didn't get.
Right.
That's okay. All right, well, let's roll into our news real quick. I got one item for the news.
Okay.
Sorry, Steven, I cut you off there.
Oh, it's all good.
All right. I
what else is new?
Well, okay. Fair. That was fair.
What do you mean you interrupted?
Okay.
I'm messing with you.
Get it.
Everybody, I'm honorary this morning because I'm going on like a little sleep. So, woohoo! Welcome the caffeine.
And okay. I'm trying to be patient. Anyway, so I wasn't going to have any news, but unfortunately, we had a iconic actor who just passed away. So I wanted to share this. I did share it on Facebook, but I wanted to share it on the air. So Richard Mole, who is better known as Bull Shannon from Night Court. Night Court was one of my all-time favorite television shows growing up. I loved that show. And Bull was such a funny character. He was great, staple to the show. Amazing. And he passed away on October 26th. That would have been Thursday, I believe.
Yeah.
80
years old.
Yep. He was 80 years old.
Wow. 80.
Bull was also the voice of Two-Face on the Batman animated series. And I had actually forgot about that till my brother-in-law reminded me on Facebook. So thank you, Roger, for that reminder. And yes, he was fantastic as Two-Face. So we lost another Batman animated actor, and that just makes me sad. So I wanted to share that. That's all I got for the
Don't forget, he was also the bad guy in Dragon Slayer.
He was the bad guy in a lot of things.
He was.
He was a bad guy in Buck Rogers.
Oh, yeah.
Was he really?
Yep. One episode.
Oh, my gosh. Boy, it's been so long since I
Whoa.
watched Buck Rogers. And you guys covered Buck Rogers on your show too, didn't you?
Yeah.
Nice little plug for you guys. And
Thank you.
also, I've got my Nerdery and Murdery mug right here with
Awesome.
me this morning.
Thank you, sir.
I'm not drinking out of it this morning because I'm drinking iced coffee because I find iced coffee stays colder longer than hot coffee stays hot. So it's easier to keep during the show. So, all right. Well, that's all the geeky news I have. I'm going to move on to Geekdar. If you guys are ready for that.
Control with the radar, sir. What's wrong with it? I've lost the bleeps, I've lost the sweeps, and I've lost the creeps. The what? The what? And the what? You know, the bleeps, the sweeps, and the creeps. That's not all he's lost.
Yeah, and we've definitely lost it today since we've got extras with us. I have one thing for the Geekdar. And again, as usual, it is a comic book, but it is not a new comic book. I was at the flea market last weekend. We have a flea market here in Belleville every month, and I try to go just about every month. And I look for generally Star Wars action figures is what I'm mostly looking for, but I sometimes peruse comic books, and I just found this amazing cover that I had to buy, and it is the Incredible Hulk. And I don't know how much you can see there, but it is the Hulk, and he is battling Wolverine, the Thing, and Abomination.
Oh, wow.
All on the
Good
cover.
God.
Whoa.
Megan's going to try to show it to you without the green screen. So,
Nice.
yeah.
Ooh.
And Blair.
I haven't read it yet, but I just saw the cover, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to get that.
That's cool.
I did look at the published date, and it's from 1989, the year I graduated, by the way.
Me too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. We're all 89ers. What?
Not Zig.
91.
Zig's the young one in the house.
He's
He's the youngster. We're all the old guys.
Yeah, he and I actually met in high school when I almost beat him up.
That's right. And then we met again like 5 years later.
Wow, I would not have imagined that, Jeff.
Yeah, it was funny, and it was just being young and stupid. And then we met years later at a party, and best friends ever since.
So get this.
Awesome.
He's telling the story about going, because he was from a different high school, going around my high school, running into people. And I'm in the kitchen of our friend's house, and I dropped what I was working on. I think I was making coffee or something, turned around and went, "That was you!"
That's hilarious.
Everybody died.
Awesome. Nice. So we got a little inside info about Nerdery and Murdery. I
Yep.
like it.
Yep.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, Steven and I have known each other since we were in high school too, and we actually met through church.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess it was the fall of '87.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And your dad was one of the ministers at First Baptist Church of O'Fallon.
Yep.
And yeah, we met, and we've been great friends ever since.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. This guy with spiked hair, long hair, almost the 80s mullet, comes up to me in a striper t-shirt, and I was like, he was like, "Hey, let's go do something." I'm like, "Okay, cool."
Yeah, I think I was new at driving back then. I think we kind of got lost and ended up in East St. Louis, which is not a great place to end
At
up.
night.
So we've had some goofy adventures.
as
But
well.
yeah, so two of us have been friends since high school also. So that's cool news. Very cool. Anyone else got anything to share for the Geekdar?
I finally finished Andor.
Okay.
Nice.
All right.
That was hard to get through.
All right.
That was hard to get through, and then followed that up with Miss Marvel, which was decent, not bad.
I have not seen Miss Marvel. Angie loved it though, right? Didn't?
Yes, Angie. Well, she kind of had this love-hate relationship with it, but I think overall she really liked it.
Yeah, with the Marvels movie coming up, I wanted to watch that, so
Gotcha.
we got through that.
They
And like I said, it was okay.
they center some of the story in the partition of India, which is something that nobody ever talks about. I think they even did a Doctor Who episode about that a couple of years ago too.
Oh,
Ooh.
A little forgotten piece of history that affected millions of people, and we just so it was cool.
right. Huh, interesting. Okay, I did not know that. All right. So if no one has any other geekdar, I guess we'll move on to the main event.
It's time for the main event.
All right.
Well, first off, real quick, I want to give a shout out to Sage Page Omega. Sage is watching through over on Twitch. Sage, good to see you. I love it. He
Sages in the
says,
house.
great guy. He says, geeks and nerds in one room. As a dweeb, I approve this.
We love Sage. He's got his own Twitch channel. He is a gaming streamer. So if you like to play games and such, go check out Sage's page on Twitch.
And he's quite talented too.
Yes. And Sage has joined us for an episode in the past. We did an episode on the Sandman series with Sage. So thank you to Sage for that one.
Speaking of video games, I just found out yesterday, and I don't even remember what popped into my head that it made me look for this, but you can get Starship Titanic on Steam.
Starship Titanic.
Yes.
Oh yeah, the Douglas Adams.
Yes, the Douglas Adams video game.
Unwinnable video game.
Wow.
Huh. Cool.
So I may have to buy that and play it.
There you go. Cool.
Since I never finished it.
I don't think anybody did. I think it's like the guide game. You get a T-shirt of how far you went.
Yeah, it's hard.
Nice. I'm sure
John
Douglas
Cleese is
Adams
the
is
narrator.
involved. It's going to be hard.
Yeah.
Is the answer 42?
Sometimes
42 better be in it somewhere. I'd be super disappointed if it wasn't. All right. So today we are discussing the Dark Lord of the Sith, Darth Bane. I got some notes, but I'm hoping I don't trample on Zig's notes for his.
I gathered some stuff from Wikipedia and some other sources. Just please go ahead.
Okay. Okay. So Darth Bane is a prominent character in the Star Wars Expanded Universe, specifically in the Darth Bane trilogy of novels written by Drew Carpassian. I'm not sure how I pronounce his name correctly.
I think you got it.
One of those is right.
I actually reached out to him to have him on the show, I think a year or two ago. He did get back with me, but unfortunately, the company that he's working for had put out like a media blackout, so he wasn't allowed to do podcasts at the time. So,
oh, wow.
And I just haven't reached out to him. So, anyway, he is known for establishing the rule of two, a Sith doctrine that there should only be a master and an apprentice at any given time to ensure the survival and growth of the Sith Order. Bane believed that by limiting their numbers, the Sith could become more powerful through secrecy and constant pursuit of strength. Darth Bane's story begins with the Old Republic era, where he was originally a miner named Dessel. He later discovered his force sensitivity and became a Sith under the tutelage of Darth Raven and Darth Zana. I don't know if that's correct. We'll discuss that.
Yeah, I don't believe so.
Because I just re-listened to the book. Sorry, I should have corrected that in my notes. After becoming delusioned with the chaotic Sith way of the time, Bane reformed the Sith Order, which ultimately tied to the rule of two. His character and teachings have had a significant influence on the Star Wars Expanded Universe, including Sith Sith.
You can do it. You can.
Thank you for the encouragement. Philosophy seen in later films and media. However, please note that my knowledge. Oh, never mind. Sorry. Sorry. So yeah, I re-listened to Darth Bane the audiobook this week. I went back and listened to a couple podcasts and stuff. Darth Bane began as a miner on a planet called Pathros, where he and his father were both miners. They're practically slaves on the planet.
Yep.
And Bane was or Dezel, or as he was known there as Dez. Most people called him Dez. Dez was picked on by all the other miners, and Dez had to get really tough because of that.
Well, and not only that, his father blamed him for the death of his mother in childbirth.
Mm-hmm.
And so, he had a hard time that way too.
And his father basically named him because his father said that Dez was the bane of his existence.
Yes.
That's where the name Bane comes from. And later, Dez just embraces that name. When he takes on his Sith name, he just embraces the Bane title and becomes, well, at that point he becomes Sith Lord Bane, because they weren't using the Darth titles at the time. So, but yeah, so he starts out on the mining planet of Pathros. From there, he gets into some trouble with the Old Republic and has to go on the run. He joins a military, and he starts learning all these military strategic, skills, and he just becomes more, knowledgeable, powerful, and so on and so forth through that. And then he is picked up by a Sith Lord at that point, and he is taken into the Sith Academy
on Korriban.
On Korriban, exactly. Yes, Jeff did his homework.
Oh yeah.
Good job. I haven't read the book. I mean, I recently re-listened to it, last week. But I haven't read the book in years. I do have a copy of the original Darth Bane book. And notice it
cool.
does not have the Legends banner on it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, the Korriban scenes are some of my favorite. I loved in the Old Republic online role-playing game that you got to go to Korriban.
Oh, that's so cool.
For missions, which was awesome.
Very cool. I have never played that. I mean, I've played some Star Wars role-playing, but it's been years and years since I played that. And we only played a few campaigns. We didn't play too much. We played mainly a smuggler campaign, which was really good because it was kind of based on Han Solo and so on and so forth. But yeah, that'd be really cool to go to Korriban. I'd love that.
Yeah, it was neat.
Very cool. Well, I do have my original Darth Bane. Unfortunately, I can't find the other two books because there's 3 books in the series, and I can't find the other 2. So they recently have reissued the Darth Bane series, and they put them in the Essential Legends collection. See, here I am doing Geekdar still. And this is the cover of the first one.
Awesome.
Path of Destruction. Really nice cover. They did a good job of this.
Yeah.
And then the second one is Dynasty of Evil. And that's where Darth Zana comes in. Zana, however we pronounce her name. And then the final one is Rule of 2. And that's the cover of that one. So,
wait. I have a question. Okay.
Yes.
So this is purely not Star Wars. This is publishing. So let me see if I get this right.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. I did do them out of order. That was book 2, and then book 3 was Dynasty of Evil.
Okay.
Yeah.
So originally it was all canon, and then it was Legends, but now it's Select Legends. It's going to be canon again, isn't it?
Well, that's what they're leading up to. Okay. Now, as far as
Dave Filoni has anything to say about it,
I agree. Well, technically, Darth Bane is still canon. I mean, the character is canon.
Yes.
Because the character was featured in the Clone Wars because Yoda.
Oh yeah.
Right. Yoda encounters the spirit of Darth Bane through I think a holocron or something in the what was it? The Yoda Chronicles, Yoda Files, one of those final episodes of the Clone Wars series.
So here you go, season 13, episode
Nice.
6.
Jeff's
sir.
playing Tito.
And not only that, he was voiced by Mark Hamill.
Yes. Mark Hamill had made an announcement at one point that he was going to get to voice a character in the Clone Wars, but he didn't want to give it up, and he kept saying, "All I can say is it's a very iconic character," and everybody's like, "Well, who could he be? I mean, who's that iconic that we haven't seen yet?" And then it turned out it was Darth Bane, which is fantastic. Of course, you would never know, had you not known that it was him, you wouldn't know just by hearing the voice because they synthesized it and doctored it all up, and you would have never known that was Mark Hamill. But yeah, so Clone Wars is canon. So I would say the character of Darth Bane is canon. The stories, however, I think are still considered quote unquote legends. So
And sorry, I said season 13. It was season 6, episode 13. I had that backwards.
That's fine.
No problem. So yeah, so Darth Bane, forgot where I was at.
Sorry.
That's okay. That's all right. So yeah, Darth Bane then goes on to the Sith Academy, which I love the idea that the Sith pretty much had identical to what the Jedi had, because the Jedi had their academy and everything. And Darth Bane, through going through the academy, realized that this isn't working. This is not what the legendary Sith like Darth Revan had imagined for them. And he was going back and getting the holocrons from Darth Revan and the different Darths from the Old Republic era, and learning from the holocrons more than what he was learning from the Sith Academy, which was pretty awesome.
I don't know how true this will be. You take it with a grain of salt. There's a rumor floating out there that in the High Republic or the Old Republic series, whichever it is that's coming out, or Acolyte. It's for Acolyte. There's a rumor that there will be a Bane cameo, possibly Keanu Reeves.
Okay.
What?
I have
with a grain of salt.
Right. I have heard that Keanu Reeves has been approached, and I've heard that Keanu Reeves has stated that he would like to be in Star Wars, but I haven't heard anything official. So yeah, I agree. Take that with a grain of salt. But him as Darth Bane,
if it was.
oh my gosh.
Oh, it was reported by Giant Freaking Robot. So
Yeah, so take it with a grain of salt.
Sure. But there's always hope, right?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Star Wars is built on hope, right?
It's a new hope.
That's right.
I see what you did there.
I love it. So through the holocrons, Bane learns about the rule of 2. He also learns that the Sith used the title Darth, and the Academy had done away with the Darth titles. They just went to Lord of the Sith. They stopped using the Darth titles. They felt that the Darth titles were how do I say it? More about oneself and less about the group. And supposedly all the Siths were equal, but that was not true at all.
No.
And so they dropped the Darth title, and Bane did not agree with that.
And you saw that during the academy scenes, some of the favoritism they would give to some of the other students, and Bane was kind of an outcast for a lot of them.
Right. And there was
Interesting.
there was the one, I cannot remember her name now, and I just listened to it last week. But there was the one character who was kind of training Bane, and honestly, it almost felt like she was Darth Zana, but it turned out she wasn't, because at the end he kills her.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, okay, well, she's not Darth Zana, she's not his apprentice, that's for sure. But yeah, she was kind of in with them, but then again, she was siding with Bane. She was kind of playing both sides of the fence. Really interesting character. I actually would like to know more about her. I think she'd be kind of cool to see some adventures on her own and stuff like that. But I know we'll never get that now. That's not going to happen. But anyway, so at this point, Darth Bane, he embraces the rule of two, and decides that he has to destroy the Sith Academy. And he uses what they call a thought bomb. And the thought bomb was actually supposed to be used on the Jedis, because they were, at war with the Jedi and the New Republic, or the Old Republic, I should say. And they were going to use the thought bomb on them, but Bane kind of turned it against everyone and pretty much destroys everybody there, period.
Yeah.
The Sith, the Jedi, everyone. They're all dead.
We're in heaven.
Yeah, right. To quote the actor from Rogue One, when he was doing the media tour for Rogue One, somebody asked him about whether his character dies, and he went, "He dead, she dead, we all dead."
I remember that.
He wasn't allowed to talk anymore after that.
He did.
Now,
Disney said no.
maybe I'm remembering it wrong. I didn't think he set off the thought bomb on Korriban. I thought he did it on a battlefield.
Well, yeah,
else.
it was on a battlefield, but it took out all the Sith there.
Yes.
Yeah. So he eliminated everyone.
I just didn't think that was on Korriban, though.
Yeah, I can't remember. You might be right. It may not have been on Korriban.
It's the Tnuktapun weapon.
It's what?
It's the Tnuktapun weapon from Larry Niven from The Protector.
I don't know what that is. You'll have to enlighten me.
Larry Niven in World of the Tavs. Millions and millions of years ago, this species who could control minds but wasn't very smart was able to control minds of a spacefaring civilization, the Tnuktapun.
It was the planet Ruusan. Ruusan. There we go.
Thank you. Yeah. So anyway, they enslaved the Tnuktapun, and the Tnuktapun worked for them for years and years and years, centuries, millennia, and eventually the Tnuktapun form a plan to kill everything above a certain amount of sentience.
Oh wow!
And set it off across the whole galaxy.
Nice. Yeah, it sounds like the same thing.
Yeah, it happened millions of years ago.
Wow. Cool.
Sorry.
That I know nothing about.
Sorry, I went down a geek rabbit hole. I apologize.
No.
I love it.
Yeah, okay. If you've never read The Protector or World of the Tavs by Larry Niven, check it out.
Okay.
It's worth it. You can find them at a half-price bookstore for $1.50.
Yeah, I gotta drive an hour away to get to Half Price Books, but I do go from time to time because they have some great deals. They got awesome bookmarks too for like 50 cents. Just amazing.
What was the name of the book by Larry Niven?
There's a couple. There was World of the Tavs and The Protector.
Okay.
They both take place in the known space universe. They're great.
Very good.
Keep in mind, you will read one or two, and then you will, I need to know more about this, and you'll end up with 20 books. So be careful.
Thanks for the warning.
Oh, my favorite from Larry Niven, and it's not just him, it's Larry Niven and Jerry Pournelle, is Inferno. If you've never read their Inferno, oh my gosh, read
Dante's
that.
Inferno.
Nice.
And his guide is Benny.
Don't give it away.
It's 40 years old.
Don't give it away.
Spoiler alert, everybody.
Spoiler alert.
Spoilerific territory.
Oh, should I have given the spoiler sounder?
It's Benito Mussolini. That's who he is. It was written in the 60s. Come on.
I love this banter.
I even said don't give it away, and you gave it away. He's terrible at that.
I am terrible at that.
Well, actually, it says it in the Amazon description.
Does it?
It does.
Man, that gives away a major thing in the book.
After being thrown out the window of his luxury apartment, science fiction writer Alan Carpentier wakes up to find himself at the gates of hell. Feeling he's landed in a great opportunity for a book, he attempts to follow Dante's roadmap. Determined to meet Satan himself, Carpentier treks through the 9 layers of hell led by Benito Mussolini and encounters countless mental and physical tortures. As he struggles to escape, he's taken through new, puzzling, and outlandish versions of sin recast for the present day.
Yep.
Acclaimed writer pair Larry Niven and Jerry Pournelle offer a new twist on Dante's classic tale Inferno.
Yep. It's a great
How come
book.
nobody's bought this for a movie?
So we were actually just talking about this in one of the last episodes we recorded. There's 2. There's Inferno, which is based off the video game.
Oh, okay.
Which is not the same, but one that I just watched just this week that you have to watch with subtitles because it's in Korean, is Along with the Gods. And it's about Yes, it's about a firefighter who dies and goes to hell and has to go through trials there as well. It's really good. I enjoyed it.
Visually, it looks neat. I've got it like on my to watch list.
Yeah, I watched it. Like I said, you do have to read it with subtitles because it's in Korean. And then there's a part 2, the last 49 days, I think it's called. I just got into that one. And there's a rumor there's going to be a part 3. So
yeah. Along with the Gods, the 2 worlds. And then Along with the Gods, the last 49 days.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I enjoyed the 2 worlds.
The visually, it looked almost like a Zack Snyder style kind of a thing. Is that fair? Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah.
It's pretty.
It's pretty. I like it.
Well shot. Fellas, I'm sorry for derailing your stuff. It's my fault.
Okay. No problem. No problem.
It's all about having conversations and getting introduced to new things. So
that's
now I've added Larry Niven to my Amazon follow list, so I can start looking at some of his stuff now.
Be careful.
Ringworld.
Ringworld. Yeah, Ringworld Engineers, Neutron Star. You're going to start down that path. It's a treacherous path, so be careful.
It's a treacherous path.
You will end up with books by Larry Niven going, why did I buy all of these?
Wow. Okay. Cool. All right. Well, so Darth Bane at that point,
Darth Bane. Yes.
Darth Bane.
Let's get back to Darth Bane.
So we call this our window of opportunity.
I like that. That's great.
I'm going to derail it once again. Zig and I gamed RPGs for years and years, and we would have 4, 5, 6 hour gaming sessions.
Wow.
On a Sunday night, and during that time, it would always devolve into different conversations about different things. And then whenever somebody was like, "Okay, we need to get back to the game," it's like, "Okay, here's your window of opportunity."
All right. Well, I'm going to take the window of opportunity and swing back to Darth Bane, and wrap up Darth Bane so we can get to Jeff's side of the house. Anyway, so at this point, Darth Bane has pretty much destroyed the entire Sith academy. There is no longer academy, and he is embracing Darth Revan's rule of 2, which is what we experienced during the Star Wars trilogy, or trilogies right now. Of course, I think it could be argued whether Palpatine really follows the rule of 2, because he always seems to have Sith apprentices just kind of roaming around everywhere. So
That's
he
just
has,
good.
He has one in reserve.
right.
That's right. That's just good leadership, strategic planning management. Just because he sends them out, so just in case they get killed, I got another one. Here we
Got
go.
another one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
but
wasn't
see
any good. He died. I gotta get another.
Right.
Right.
That is true. Anyway, so yeah, that's where the rule of two comes into play, and then we'll get more into the Xena side of the story because that's Darth Bane's apprentice. We'll get more onto that on you guys' episode. So, anything else you guys want to add to Darth Bane?
One of the things that I found was really cool about Darth Bane was his orbalisk armor.
Oh yeah, I forgot to even mention that. Yeah.
The living armor of the parasitic beetles that just attach to him. And cause him-
Dune. Sorry.
Do what?
Dune.
Dune,
Well, except
Dune, but better.
Yes, exactly. These caused him
more better.
much more better.
Much more
Cheers.
better.
There we
Cheers.
go.
Hey, we got it in.
Right on.
But it caused him constant, excruciating pain,
Yes.
which
yes.
which fueled his anger in the dark side.
Huh, interesting.
I remember when I first read the novel way back when it came out, I didn't know how I felt about the whole, living armor thing. I wasn't sure I really liked it, but re-listening to it last week, and I think maybe listening to it helped. And just the way it's described through the audiobook.
Mm-hmm.
I think that helped me to see it in my mind's eye and get a better picture of it and get a better grasp on it. And I enjoyed it much more better.
Much more better. Cheers.
Cheers. Much more better.
Much more better this time around. So,
Well,
yeah, thank you for mentioning it. I forgot all about that.
Yeah, because it increased his strength. It enabled him to heal almost instantly from any wound, and it was impenetrable to lightsabers.
Yeah.
So was it like Mandalorian armor then, or?
He became the Kwisatz Haderach.
Ah,
I'm sorry, the Shai-Hulud.
The Shai-Hulud.
I would say Drew Karpesh took the whole Dune idea to a much better level. So, sorry, I'm not a fan of Dune.
Really?
Yeah.
I wasn't of the movies. It was too slow for me.
Oh my gosh.
Snail's
pace.
And I did my high school term theme over Dune. And the movies, I struggle with the movies.
Yeah.
Well, you talk about both the Lynch version and the new version, the Villeneuve.
Yeah.
I never can say
I'm
his
right
name
there
right.
with you, Jeff, because we did it for the podcast.
Yeah.
Sorry, Steven. I know you like Dune.
I'm with you, Steven. I thought they were. I like the Lynch version. I like the new version. I like the one that Sci-Fi Channel did.
Isn't it nice that they're on that side and they liked it? And we're on this side?
How did you notice that?
Hey, we planned this.
That's right. Yes.
Zig does lots of stuff that I don't like. I mean, we've got an episode coming up about the East Bay metal. Stupid thrash 3. I don't mind heavy metal. Death metal? No, I'm out.
We came to the consensus that if you're gonna scream, don't do it off key, and if you're gonna sing off key, don't.
Yes,
scream.
that made it even worse.
I loved how you guys started off your episode with Big Trouble in Little China when Zig's doing the whole line.
Put an effing roadblock.
And then Jeff goes, I don't know what the F we're talking about. I was like, okay, that's a different intro for him. I love it. That's awesome. You guys did good on that one.
Thank you.
I was laughing at it. I think Brenda was like, I don't know what the hell's going on here.
I think they're funny when we just come into the middle of a conversation.
Speaking of Brenda.
Hey, Brenda. How you doing?
She says, She says, I wish I could be there listening, but I'm at work.
So she's at work on Facebook.
Oh,
Don't get her in
busted.
trouble.
We won't tell anyone, though. All right. So if no one's got anything else to say about Darth Bane, I think we'll step over to the murdery side of the house. I've always wanted to say that.
You want to do the other part?
Huh?
You want to do the other part?
Sure.
Murder.
There you go. You know what that comes from, right?
No, I don't.
Heart to heart.
Oh, really?
The old heart.
Okay.
The old
When-
heart to heart.
When they met, it
Wow.
was murder.
Murder. That's right. Oh, my
Nice.
goodness.
I
Ooh,
love this
memory lane.
inside information on Nerdery and Murdery.
Yep.
My mom
So
used
awesome.
to love to watch Heart to Heart.
I watched it too. I loved it. Well, awesome. So for the crossover, what I decided to do is I decided to find murderers from the states that Michael and Steven reside in.
I love it.
So you could be perfectly creeped out.
Yeah.
Now, Jeff, I want you to know I actually live in Illinois,
Right. Yeah.
But-
But I
but
got
I
St.
associate with St. Louis, and St.
Yeah.
Louis is actually located in Missouri.
So you
course,
basically live in
I work in
Cahokia,
Missouri too. What
right?
was that, Jeff?
You live in Cahokia, basically, or where Cahokia would have been.
I live not far from Cahokia,
Yeah,
actually just down the street. So
Yeah. It's the biggest city in North America, and no one knows about it. Well, I mean, we do now. But...
Awesome.
Sorry.
Yeah. St. Louis will be part 2. For this one, we're starting in Montana. And I got my information from All That's Interesting, Wikipedia, ABC, Fox Montana, and Happy Scribe. And this is the story of the Missoula Mauler.
Ooh.
the Missoula Mauler.
Stephen, are you familiar with it?
No.
Many Missoula ones.
Ooh, okay.
So the Missoula Mauler, Montana's baby-faced killer, was a serial sex murderer. And they all refer to one man, Wayne Nathan Nance.
Wayne Nathan Nance.
He's believed to have killed at least 6 people between 1974 and 1986, and Wayne Nance only stopped his reign of terror when he was fatally shot by a would-be victim. Wayne Nance shot and stabbed his victims, often raping them beforehand. Oh, by the way, some of this does get graphic.
Yes, we are now moving in from PG-13 plus.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's okay. That's okay.
Between 1974 and 1986, he invaded homes across Montana, slipping out of the shadows long enough to take someone's life, only to quickly escape into the night. Eventually, it wasn't the police who ended his 6-victim crime spree, but a heroic couple Nance failed to kill. It's strongly suspected he may have had many more undiscovered victims, and his last crime was the invasion of his boss's home. Although Nance plunged an 8-inch blade into the man's chest, beat him over the head, and raped his wife, the man managed to survive and shoot Nance dead.
Good for him.
It was only then, after taking a sample of Wayne Nance's DNA, that police realized this was the previously unidentified Missoula Mauler they had been chasing all along. Before his death and discovery of his crime, some of his murders were tentatively ascribed to David Meerhofer, who was a native Montanan and military veteran. Meerhofer confessed to 4 murders and then killed himself in custody in 1974, but authorities believed he may have committed additional crimes. Wayne Nance was born on October 18, 1955 in Clinton, Montana, to George Edwin Nance, who was a long-haul truck driver, and Charlene May Nance, who was a waitress. Nance lived in a motorhome outside of Milltown, Montana, which is east of Missoula, and was described by teachers and classmates as an academically gifted yet eccentric individual who was also a juvenile delinquent. Friends claim that during his adolescence, Nance frequently boasted of worshiping the devil and even used a hot coat hanger to brand himself in satanic symbols. Yeah.
Ow.
Yeah.
Ouch.
I know, right?
You know, there's something called a tattoo artist.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got to wear that forever. Might as well get somebody who's good at it.
Right.
Right. Now, this is a little rough. One winter morning, Wayne wandered through his trailer park to the community incinerator where everyone burned their trash. Near the incinerator was a box with a litter of kittens that someone left behind. Wayne tipped the box into the incinerator and turned it on, listening to the kittens screamed as they burned to death.
Oh, animal mutilation.
Animal mutilation.
Yeah,
There
he
you
was
go.
a psycho right there.
Yep. The sad thing about that, even worse, is a neighbor witnessed the event but didn't tell Wayne's parents. Instead, he told his wife, who simply said, maybe boys do that, but maybe he had a sadistic streak. Oh, well.
Well, some people say cats should play out in the street where they belong. I'm just kidding. I'm teasing. I
Well,
have 2 cats
wow.
myself.
Well, I personally believe cats are evil. So I mean, but
I'm not a cat person either.
I'm not going to run around and push them in incinerators.
No.
Wait, aren't cats the gateway to hell? Wasn't that Constantine in the movie Constantine that they use cats to portal
I
to hell?
think
Okay,
you're
never
right.
mind. Okay, sorry. Go ahead,
That's
Jeff.
funny.
I'm sorry.
No
Squirrel.
worries.
Window of opportunity.
Exactly. In December of 1968, Wayne's father was arrested for armed robbery and assault. He held up a local Super Save store and tied up the assistant manager and beat him with the butt end of a pistol.
Ouch.
Records also show that Wayne got into so many fights with the other kids that he was forbidden to ride the bus to school. And he had also bragged about wanting to commit a murder before he was 19 years old. He graduated from Sentinel High School in 1974, and while the motives remain unclear, Wayne Nance committed his first murder at 18 years old. It was on April 11th, 1974, he invaded the home of Harvey Pounds while the Bethel Baptist Church deacon was at work. Tragically, his wife Donna was home alone. Donna, who worked part-time at a Christian bookstore, had arrived home at 3:30 p.m. and is believed to have encountered Nance in the master bedroom. And as a regular visitor and family friend, Wayne Nance knew where Pounds' .22 caliber Luger was. He snuck into the bedroom and retrieved the gun, then tied Donna up and raped her at gunpoint. He was wearing latex gloves, one of which was found at the scene and carried with him in a black gym bag, where he had a white clothesline, which was used to tie Donna to the bed. And he then led her into the basement and fired 5 bullets into her head.
Ouch.
Whoa.
He then inserted the barrel of the gun into her vagina and left the property.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Whoa, he's messed up.
Yeah.
Dang.
Donna's husband, Harvey, arrived home at 6 p.m. and discovered that Donna had been held captive in her basement, tied to a chair and shot. 3 eyewitnesses claimed they saw Nance, an acquaintance of the victim's teenage son, who was in the area about the time of Donna's death that afternoon. One witness claimed they saw him in the garden of the Pounds' residence, and another said they saw him leaving the house with a black gym bag and heading in the direction of Tamarack Trailer Park, where Nance lived with his parents. Police also found bloody underwear in the home, but they couldn't identify where it came from, as it had been washed. And suddenly Harvey Pounds himself became a suspect in his own wife's murder, with suspicion that was compounded by the fact that he was in the middle of an affair.
Oh.
Well,
Yeah, that's good.
when questioned by police, Nance admitted that he had not gone to school that day, but had stayed home in order to work on a school project. He had been out in the area, he said, foraging for materials that he needed. But insufficient evidence against either party ultimately turned the murder into a cold case, and thus the Missoula Mauler's reign of terror began. It would be years later when police searched Nance's home that they discovered the evidence linking him to the Pounds murder.
Oh.
Nance served in the U.S. Navy from 1974 to 77, and investigators
Cops in
later.
the 70s were terrible. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Every
Yeah.
single one of these stories. You know,
Yeah.
oh yeah, they found it like in the 85. It was fine. It was like, oh, because
Right.
in the 70s.
I know. Investigators later suspected he might have committed more crimes while traveling for his military service. And on November 29, 1977, Nance received a general military discharge on the ground of misconduct after he was found with stolen items containing LSD, marijuana, and illegal butterfly knives.
Wow.
Over 5 years later, the body of a raped and stabbed teenage girl was found near Beavertail Hill State Park. On February 27, 1980, her badly decomposed body was discovered by the crew of a slow-moving freight train on a road bank close to Interstate 90 in the city of Missoula, resting against a chain-link fence. Because of the condition of her body, her remains were not identified until February 16, 1985. She had no shoes or underwear, and her dress was hitched up around her neck, and she had been stabbed in the chest. She matched no missing persons report, however, and was thus dubbed Betty Beavertail until 1985, when she was identified as 15-year-old Seattle runaway Devonna Nelson. Wayne is suspected of killing Nelson, but has never been definitively linked to the crime. In 1984, Nance was working as a bouncer at Missoula's Cabin Bar, and he was also dating a 16-year-old drifter named Marcella Bachman, who also went by Robin. She had run away from Vancouver, Washington, due to a conflict with her family members, and the couple announced they would leave town in September to start anew somewhere else. 3 months after they did, Robin's body was found in the Missoula woods. The body had been buried in a shallow grave, and her decomposed leg was protruding out of the frozen ground. Strong evidence indicates that Nance murdered Bachman. When asked by acquaintances about the whereabouts of Robin, Nance would say she's gone and claimed she had run off with a trucker or that he had put her on a bus. Bachman's grave was 2 miles from Nance's home. Nance claimed that she had left the area on September 28, 1984, which was about the time she was killed. Her brother, Derek Bachman, had been searching for Marcella since he was 21 years old, along with a private investigator. And he originally believed she may have supported herself as a prostitute while away from home and may have become a victim of Gary Ridgway. We covered Gary Ridgway in a previous episode where he murdered at least 49 runaway children and prostitutes during the 80s and 90s.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Robin was never identified as one of Ridgway's victims, though. When police conducted a search of Wayne's home after his death, they found a series of photo booth pictures of him and Bachman, and investigators also found hair similar to Bachman's in Nance's home. The pathologist could only tell that she had died of 3 gunshot wounds to the head, but she had been decomposing for about 3 months. Dubbed Debbie Deer Creek after the crime scene, she was only identified as Bachman by DNA tests in 2006.
Whoa, so 20 years later.
DNA technology.
Yeah.
Jeez.
On September 11, 1985, the skeleton of Janet Lee Lucas, who was 23 years old, was found in Missoula along with 2 .32 caliber bullets in her skull, 3 miles away from where Bachman had been found. Investigators believe she had died between 1983 and 1985, and Lucas's remains went identified until May of 1921, and she was initially believed of Asian descent. Like other Jane Does found near East Missoula, Lucas was given a name before she was identified, and they called her Christy Crystal Creek. Based on examination, her age range was between 18 and 35 years old. She was between 4'10" and 5 feet 2 inches tall, and weighed between 90 and 110 pounds. Examination indicated that she most likely had a history of smoking and had many fillings in her teeth, as well as 2 root canals. She also had oral surgery that used characteristically Asian dental techniques involving the screwing of a dental post into the tooth. After genetic genealogy research was conducted after a successful DNA extraction, it was learned that Lucas originated from Spokane, Washington, having disappeared from Sandpoint, Idaho during the summer of 1983, but it's unknown when or why she came to Montana. Again, Nance has never been definitively linked to this murder, but he's the only suspect. On December 12th, Nance returned to his home invasions. Mike and Teresa Shook had just eaten dinner with their 3 small children when Nance banged on the door. Nance, armed with a gun, walked in the household at 9 p.m. and introduced himself as Conan the Barbarian. He demanded their money and fired off a shot, which hit Teresa in the leg. A post-mortem examination revealed that Nance had tried to dig the bullet out of her leg. This led to the belief that Nance had not intended to hit Teresa and was aiming instead to fire a warning shot. But after shooting Teresa, Nance ordered and locked Michael and Teresa's 4 children in their shared bedroom. A physical altercation ensued in which Michael suffered a blow to the head. He was then tied up and stabbed in the chest with a butcher knife. Teresa was forced upstairs and tied to the bed, and she was raped before being stabbed to death herself. Her body would be found clothed, apart from her underwear, with a pillow over her face. 2 hours later, Nance returned, robbing the family of an elk statue, a stag-handled hunting knife, and a silver dollar collection before attempting to set fire to the home. The fire smoldered but did not catch, however, and the intended ignition material released cyanide gas into the airtight home, slowly gassing the children trapped inside.
Whoa.
The children did survive, however, after they were rescued by neighbors. And items stolen from the Shook residence were later found in Nance's home, and it was also determined that Nance had delivered a new couch to Mike and Teresa Shook at their house only days before their murders.
So that's how he knew them in that case.
Yep. Even though authorities found the children alive, there was no trace of Wayne Nance or anything linking him to the invasion. Nance soon had a job at Conlin's Furniture, hiding in plain sight. He was decent looking and could have drifted into obscurity if he hadn't soon returned to his violent ways. Missoula County Sheriff's Office.
Wait a minute. You said Conlin's Furniture. That's where we got some of our furniture.
Oh, no. Really? Wow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they've got stores all over Montana and stuff, but I'm like, huh. Obviously, there's not a good delivery screening kind of a thing.
Wow.
I'm not getting furniture delivered ever again.
Well, this would be a good reason when you sell furniture to make sure that you meet at a neutral location and not not your home.
Missoula County Sheriff's Office Detective Marta Timmons said he, like many serial killers, was very charming. When he turned on the charm, he was handsome and he wasn't bad to look at.
Oh, is that thus the baby face?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So he worked as a mover for Conlin's Furniture, where he was described by his employers and coworkers as an average guy. However, several female customers had complained about harassing phone calls they had begun to receive after getting a delivery from the store and singled out Nance as being the caller. He had also begun taking photos of his female colleagues. Wayne was reported for using a peephole, which he had quote found, and he had blamed on other members of the staff. And when questioned, these employees insisted it had been shown to them by Nance, not the other way around. Unfortunately for Wayne Nance, he was enamored with Chris Wells, who was the wife of his manager, Doug Wells. On September 3rd, 1986, Nance attempted to murder the husband and wife. Nance engaged Doug in a conversation while they were in the front yard of his home around midnight. Doug demanded to know what Nance was doing in the bushes outside of his property, upon which Nance told him he was passing by and had spotted someone lurking outside of his house. Nance asked if he could borrow a flashlight, and afterward, Doug went with him inside. Nance then struck Doug in the head before tying up both him and Chris. Nance stabbed Doug in the chest and left him to die in the basement, and then he forced Chris into the bedroom on the second floor to rape her. But Doug, even though he was badly wounded, managed to free himself and load one bullet into a rifle he had been repairing. He staggered up to the second floor where his wife was being assaulted in their bedroom. Nance and Doug engaged in another fight, ending with Doug shooting and incapacitating Nance. Both Nance and the Wells were rushed to the hospital, where Doug and Chris made full recoveries, but Nance's injuries proved fatal and he died the following day. After the incident with the Wells, authorities investigated Nance's background and his other crimes, initially noting similarities between the Wells incident and the murders of Michael and Teresa Shook. And Nance was also found to be in possession of a large collection of photographs of Chris in his wallet. Some had been taken from the bushes along the route Chris would go from a jog, and others he had collated into a photo album along with notes such as, "I love you, I'm crazy about you, and I want you to live with me." In the end, Wayne Nance's death allowed authorities to link him to his crimes. In May 2021, modern DNA also helped identify Christy Crystal Creek as 23-year-old Janet Lee Lucas, and it remains unclear if Nance actually killed her or how many other the Missoula Mauler victimized, which we may find out through DNA. And that's the story of the Missoula Mauler.
Wow.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, wait a minute, Steven. It's wow.
Wow.
Well, thank you for that.
Thanks for taking that journey with me.
Yep.
Wow.
Here we go.
Wow.
So what I've learned about through this is always be aware of your surroundings. One,
Yep.
and two, good home defense.
Yes.
Always
Three,
have a good
never
home
buy
defense.
your furniture from Conlin's Furniture. I'm just kidding.
That's fair.
Yeah, Conlin's, if you want to be a sponsor,
Yeah.
Hi. We'll work
Well,
something out.
Yeah, hopefully they're not listening to this episode.
right.
All right. Well, thank you for that, Jeff. That
Awesome.
was cool. That was cool. I mean, not yeah.
Right.
I never know what to say at the end of these.
Right.
I know how you feel.
My stories are rarely happy.
Right. Well, we can look at it this way: the killers got it in the end, so I mean,
Yes.
that's
Yes.
a happy thing. So
Yes.
it's not happy what happened to the victims or anything, but
But if you see a kid, a young kid who's harming animals, report them.
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
If they don't
Yeah.
stop that kid going to become a serial killer. That's what
Yeah.
we've discovered.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like in every one of your stories, the killer, he's harmed animals,
Abused.
he's abused.
And generally wets the bed
Yeah,
way past the time when it should be, and that leads to
Um,
humiliation, and it's called the McDonald Triad.
Right. Yeah, I
they're
remember.
generally petty criminals too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, I don't have much more to add to that.
Wait a minute. So I'm curious. The McDonald Triad. So it's a theory, or what's the?
Yeah, it's a theory that all serial killers, or the majority of serial killers, have three things in common. And I'm sorry, not necessarily bedwetting. It's physical abuse,
Okay.
Humiliation.
harming of animals,
Okay.
and setting fires.
Wow.
So the bedwetting generally comes into abuse because it'll end up being humiliation, because they end up wetting their bed well past the age of when that is considered relatively normal still.
Okay.
And so it will lead into humiliation and sometimes abuse there as well. So it's not a proven theory, but it's a theory that's out there.
Interesting.
It's a good guideline.
The biggest one that we come to is, if you don't want to raise your kid to be a serial killer,
Don't
beat
beat your kids.
Right.
I think that's a good rule in general. So, wow. Okay.
Fascinating. I always learn something from you guys. This is
Awesome.
Fascinating. Yeah.
Awesome.
All right.
I like getting into the psychology of it.
Yeah. Very interesting. See, I'm doing my what's the word? I'm doing my research here at the same time. So I have multiple screens. So I'm sitting there looking at pictures of Wayne Nathan Lance and some of the old pictures from the late 70s, early 80s, and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I looked up McDonald Triad. What?
Yep. Talked about it many times.
Yeah, McDonald Triad.
Very interesting. So everybody, you want more info, be sure. I'm gonna put this on the screen because I want everyone to know where to find you guys, because this is a great time to plug.
Awesome.
Where to find our friends. Nerdery and Murdery.com. That's the hub for our friends, Jeff and Zig. And please check them out. They are a lot of fun. And you're going to learn something new every time.
Yes.
It may be about circuitry for a Commodore computer, but it also may be about a punk rock band that you've never heard of.
Right.
Or even authors like Larry Niven.
Right.
There we go.
There he is.
Well,
this guy teaches us about murder.
All right.
Yeah, there you go.
Sorry, I switched everything around when I accidentally popped out. So.
No worries.
It's all good. All good.
Yeah, Jeff and Zig have been friends of ours for I don't know what we've
2 years.
A couple years now, and
Couple years
Mike and I started watching Cowboys games together. So
Yep. Just about every Sunday we're Facebook messaging each other as the Cowboys start to play because
Yep.
I'm a diehard Cowboys fan.
I might be late tomorrow. We're probably going to go golfing in the morning. So
Nice.
Understandable.
Nice.
Hopefully we got a win tomorrow.
yeah,
It all depends on which of our Cowboys show up.
I know,
the
right?
winning ones or the losing ones. Because
Right.
each week it seems to be a different story.
Yeah.
So at least it's well somewhat entertaining.
Yes.
There may be tears, there may be cheers. We'll see what happens.
Yep.
All right. Well, that's all I got. How about you, Steven?
I'm stuck on so many different things that we've talked about today. I mean, I'm still geeking out about Keanu Reeves would make a great Darth Revan.
I agree with that.
Yes. And it's Revan. I said in the show Bane, but the rumor is he's going to be Darth Revan.
You know, I'd take him as either Revan or Bane.
Yeah, either one.
Yeah, I don't care. It's Keanu Reeves. Who cares? Just get him in there.
Right. You know, also just a side note, I'm also still looking at Larry Niven. So,
Oh no!
Inferno,
You'll love his
He was
stuff.
a long and prolific author.
is he? So the funny thing about Dante's Inferno, most people who think of hell or talk about hell and stuff, they get their theology not from the Bible, but actually from Dante's Inferno.
Yeah.
Which is so funny. Well, yeah, when people talk about it, it's like, yeah, that's Dante. That's not what's in the Bible.
People pull other things for that they think is in the Bible. It's not too.
So real quick though, I want to ask this question. So, of the Larry Niven books, which one should I start off with if I'm going to read one?
Ringworld.
Good question.
Ooh, did you catch
Ringworld.
that? Boom, Ringworld.
Yeah.
Ringworld. Okay.
And then after that, go with the Protector because Ringworld will make more sense once you read the Protector because you realize the Protectors are the ones that built Ringworld, but they don't say that in Ringworld.
Oh, spoiler alert! I'm just kidding.
40 years. Oh my God, the 60s.
Jeff warned you that he spoils everything.
He does. He does.
This guy. That's
Oh
awesome.
gosh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
All right. Well, if you guys have not checked out Nerdery and Murdery, please make sure and go check out their show. You can find them at nerderyandmurdery.com. And Zig always has a interesting topic on the nerd side, and Jeff will always have a mesmerizing murder for you.
I try. By the way, if you go back, I had to go back and look here. Episode 45 of our show was over Larry Niven.
Okay, thank you. All right, perfect. I'm going to my Spotify. That's how I listen, is through Spotify. So I'm going to make sure I add that real quick.
Yeah, the murdery side of that one's real interesting too. That was a disappearance that's never been solved.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
So we don't actually know if it was a murder or not.
No, it was a lady that disappeared off a cruise ship.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Very interesting story.
Wow. Okay. All right. So make sure and check that out. This, by the way, is part 1 of a 2-part crossover. So to get the second part where we will be discussing Darth Bane's apprentice, Zaina, and Zig will be leading us on that one. You'll have to check that out over on Nerdery and Murdery.
Yeah, hoping to have that out on Wednesday.
And this episode, the audio episode, will be available Monday. And of course, the YouTube is available now. So, all right. Steven.
Yes.
You're on.
I'm on. Hey, everybody, please check us out at our website at 2geeksmike.com. That's the number 2, GEEKSMIC.com. That's all things Hub 2 Geeks. But one of the cool things that you can check out there is you can check out our website, or excuse me, check out our Ko-fi page where you can help support us. All that money, as I always say, goes to pay for Mike's addictions to comic books, figures,
Lamborghini.
Lamborghini.
The Lamborghini. Yeah, I thought I'd do something different, but yeah, Lamborghini.
No, they've adopted the Lamborghini thing on their side. So
right.
Well, I also started
I
saying,
do listen to you guys.
and I also started saying, and it helps to go fund the vacations that we don't take.
Right.
Vacations? I got a full-time job besides this.
Right.
Right.
Also, you can check us out at our new website link, which is 2geeksmikemerch.com. So the number 2, GEEKSMICMERCH.com. I got my 2 Geeks hoodie on, which is super soft as well. And but also you can get there from our website, 2geeksmike.com. And pretty cool stuff. Also, everybody, make sure you check us out because we've got all kinds of new stuff coming and very excited about what lay ahead for us. And we have a new sponsorship, but I'm still affiliate sponsorship, but I'm still working on the paperwork.
Oh, did we get it?
No, I'm working on it. I'll get it. Well, we'll get it. We'll get it. But we're pretty excited about it. So we'll have more on that coming soon.
All right.
So
with that said, if you've watched us this far, please make sure and like and subscribe. Go like us on Facebook. We've actually gotten a lot of extra likes on Facebook, so I appreciate all the new people on there. Give the little bell a tickle on YouTube so you know exactly when we go live. And we do go live on Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. You do the math on the rest because I don't like math. And with that said, I don't have anything else. How about you, Steven?
I'm good.
All
I'm
right.
excited. Well, part 2, everybody. Nerdery and Murdery, part 2. It's going to be awesome.
Go check out part 2. And I'm looking for my outro here. Okay. Jeff and Zig, thank you so much for being on our show. Thanks love having you guys. You're such a blast. So with that said, over and out. May the force be with you. And Zig,
cue the music.
Thank you for joining us today on the 2 Geeks and a Microphone podcast. Tune in next week when we will have more news and reviews. Until then,
may the force be with you.